Every day, without realizing it, you belong to the same ordinary 90% of people. You can't never stand alone among them if you don't understand how the top 10% of people act in social life. These top-tier people don't have Einstein IQ level to be smart enough to stay high. They're not smarter. They just follow some rules that others ignore. These rules are not that complex, but with something much simpler. It's just how you control yourself in every situation. Wait, let me tell you something that you experienced at least once. If someone says something, you get angry. If someone asks something, you say yes. If someone asks for any help, you go to help without thinking about your own work. And it feels normal. But here's the truth most people never notice. You're not choosing these actions, you're reacting to someone else's move. And the moment that happens, you've already lost control. The difference between normal people and those 10% of people is differentiated by how they act in social life. Social life is not just talking, laughing, hanging out. There's a hidden layer to it. A quiet game where the one who reacts first loses. The one who talks more reveals more. The one who needs more has less power. But 90% of people never see this. They think they're just being normal, while slowly giving control away. But those people move differently. They don't react instantly. They don't explain everything. They don't say yes to everything. But somehow, they feel more in control, more respected, more untouchable. Not because they're smarter, but because they follow a few rules that no one talks about. Don't worry, I'm here to explain some of the rules that help you to join that 10% club. There are tons of things to follow, but we don't need to know about everything. I'm going to tell you just 5 important rules, which are enough to outsmart 90% of people. So, let's get started. Rule number 1. Emotional control. Sounds very simple, no? But trust me, this simple thing can change your identity completely to the next level. Think about this. The moment someone can trigger you, they can control you. All it takes is one insult, one comment, one small disrespect, and suddenly your mood changes, your tone changes, your behavior changes. Not because you decided to, but because someone else made you react. Most people think they're standing up for themselves, but in reality, they're reacting exactly how the other person expected. That's not control. That's being played. Smart people don't let that happen. Not because they don't feel emotions, but because they don't show them instantly. They think, then they choose. So understand one thing. If someone can control your emotions, they don't need to control anything else. So then, let's move on to rule number 2, saying no. Wait, you might think, saying no? Let me explain. Most people don't say yes because they want to. They say yes because they feel uncomfortable saying no. For example, a friend asks something. You don't feel like doing it, but you still say yes. Why? Because you don't want to look rude. You don't want to disappoint them. But here's what actually happens. Every time you say yes without thinking, someone else is deciding your time. And the worst part? People notice this. Not consciously, but they feel it. They start expecting it because they know you won't say no. Smart people break this pattern early, not aggressively, not emotionally, just clearly. Simple, no. No long explanations, no guilt, because they understand boundaries are not rude. They are protection. All right, next, rule number 3. Listen more, talk less. In most conversations, people are not listening. They're waiting for their turn to talk, to impress, to explain, to prove something. And while they're doing that, they reveal everything. Their insecurities, their intentions, their mindset. But they don't notice it because they're too busy talking. Smart people do the opposite. They speak less, they watch more. They notice who interrupts, who seeks attention, who changes behavior around others. Because when you stop talking, you start seeing. And once you see clearly, you can activate your powerful 7th sense, which will push you ahead of normal people. So next time in a conversation, while they're talking, you learn everything about them. All right, next, rule number 4. End things first. Most people don't end things. They wait. They stretch conversations. They stay longer than needed. Calls, chats, meetups, they just continue. Because ending first feels awkward. You might think they will assume me wrong. But here's what most people don't realize. The one who ends first controls the interaction. When you end first, you show you value your time, you don't look dependent, you leave on your terms. You don't wait for others to decide when it's over. You decide. And that small shift changes how people see you, and they start to value your time and increase the respect for you. Now, last on the list, never answer immediately. Fast responses feel normal today. Message comes, instant reply. Friend asks for help, instant yes. But think about what that signals. It shows you're always available, you're always ready, you're always reacting. And slowly, you become predictable and easy to control. Smart people don't rush, not to play games, but to think, to choose their response, to stay in control of the interaction. So you don't need to answer quickly, you can delay it. For example, if a friend asks to chill out for some time, but you are stuck between your own tasks, in this situation, you can give your honest opinion. I have this kind of work. Once I finished, I will think about it. This will be helpful in rejecting it respectfully and maintain healthy relationships. And that pause does something powerful. It shifts the dynamic. So hereafter, think before deciding. Do not react instantly. Just decide clearly first. So that's it. These are the 5 important rules to follow. Now just look at this all together. Nothing extreme, nothing complicated, but everything changes. You're calmer, harder to read, harder to control, and people notice it, even if they don't understand it. Most people think outsmarting others is about tricks. Outsmarting starts here, not being easy to control. Because the moment people realize they can't trigger you, they can't rush you, they can't pressure you, the game changes. You don't chase control, you just stop giving it away. And that alone puts you ahead of 90% people.